Chrome-Shelled Regios is an action-adventure comedy shown in anime set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland world filled with insect-like monsters called pollution beasts. Humanity lives in large mobile cities powered by and moved by strange creatures known as electric fairies that roam around the world. The primary setting for the anime is a city called Zelny, a weak, academically focused city that's main claim to fame is raising the youth of tomorrow. Movement between cities is very limited as they have no set location or way of knowing each other's exact position, so roaming buses that run the risk of being attacked by pollution beasts is the only way to get around outside a city, as the air is toxic and will kill anyone not wearing an environmental power suit if they are outside for more than a few minutes. Military arts is one of the most important aspects of this world as it is key to survival and power for the mobile cities. Military artists are people who can manipulate a strange energy called K that allow them to gain great physical abilities and launch energy attacks, as well as use weapons known as dites that can be used to channel their powers. The story largely focuses on Zelny's 17th Platoon and their new recruit, Layfon. The 17th Platoon is led by Nina, who is a stubborn, dedicated, reckless fighter who is obsessed with improving herself and her platoon. As well as gaining strength, she is extremely focused on victory at almost any cost and is quick to sacrifice herself for any cause she believes in. Nina dislikes relying on others and will try to root out any weakness she sees within herself. The platoon psychokinesist, which is a type of K user that can communicate through thought and uses their abilities to survey and gather information, is named Feli, and is the younger sister of the student president of Zelny. She is rather stoic on most matters, save for things involving her brother, who she finds annoying, or Layfon, who she's taken great interest in. Feli's breaks from her rather stoic behavior are largely a source of comedy, as she will often vent frustrations and have humorous violent outbursts when she believes she is alone or with Layfon, who she has nicknamed Fonfon. The sniper of the platoon, Sharnid, uses gun dites and picks off weak enemies and distracts strong ones. Sharnid is a shameless womanizer, always bragging about his most recent date or interaction with a girl. Despite his devil-may-care attitude, he acts as a mediator and level-headed member of the platoon, often trying to diffuse tensions and give the support. The platoon mechanic, Harley, is a rather minor character who does little outside of maintain the platoon's dites. Layfon is forced to join the military arts and 17th Platoon due to strings being pulled by the student council president who resides over the city of Zelny. Layfon is an extremely powerful fighter from the military city of Grenda. After being forced to join the 17th Platoon, Layfon settles in and becomes the city of Zelny's strongest military asset and must defend them from pollution beasts. Think of Layfon as a level 100 maxed out character, while platoon captains are generally only at level 15 or 20 in terms of strength. Layfon is a major contrast to Nina, as he is extremely strong and unconcerned about duty and pride, instead focusing on his own life and the people he cares about, while Nina is weak by comparison, struggling to gain even a fraction of power and unconcerned about her own life, instead focusing on her duty and pride. This conflict in how each views the importance of their own titles and using their powers creates an interesting dynamic between Nina and Layfon that adds a layer of complexity to their relationships, development, and interactions. Most of the platoon's time is spent either training or engaging in platoon versus platoon mock battles. The more serious duties that they have would be the rare instances in which the city moves closer to pollution beasts or engages another city in a large-scale battle that occurs in which the cities play out capture the flag war games that determines who has to sacrifice resources. There is a civilian character named Maishin who is very much in love with Layfon after he saves her from danger. She and her two friends are all three students who are pursuing jobs unrelated to the military arts, resulting in them getting little screen time relative to the military artist users. Meishin's friends try to support her as she pursues Layfon with small romantic interactions like making him lunch or going on a date. Every now and then the screen time is given to characters in Grenda that Layfon left behind and give more context on who he was and his past there. This time is largely centered around Liren, his childhood friend, as she writes him letters and thinks about how much she misses him. So while I wouldn't call this a harem anime, Layfon seems to have at least 4 girls who are interested in him romantically to some extent, although the complexity of this interest varies and is treated in a way that adds some depth to the characters' interactions and motives. I should probably mention that the anime will largely leave many things unexplained and is a bit of a convoluted mess when it comes to characters outside the 17th Platoon, particularly those in Grenda and who they are. There are some weird concepts and characters that are introduced but never elaborated on, leaving you with a "what is happening, what is going on" expression for many of the cuts or characters that are alien to everything known about the world up to this point. The constant cuts to these scenes that don't seem to make any sense or have any context really hurts the anime, as these concepts should really be explained or given context prior or given some time after to explain what happens, but this never occurs. The action itself is somewhat of a mixed bag, as there is a lot of general shots of simple glowing auras and slashes that are rather generic, but every now and then they have some really good character movements and positioning that make up for it. There is also random cuts to a few seconds or minutes of another world with characters speaking bad English and fighting interdimensional multi-faced monsters inside cities, but you can largely ignore these scenes because they are unrelated to the story and are just an in-universe TV show that the characters sometimes watch. Overall, I would say Chrome-Shelled Regios is a surprisingly fun and interesting watch, despite the aforementioned flaws. Outside of the convoluted mess that is the electric fairies, weird magic, random unrelated cuts, and Grenda, it is a pleasant action anime with some of the most well-developed characters and character interactions that leave you wanting to see more and more of their humorous and lighthearted side, as you really develop an attachment for them and for their motives, come to want to see them take a break and enjoy themselves every now and then when they aren't worrying about the next platoon battle or city battle. I must say, one of my favorite episodes is actually the pool episode, as it is really exemplified by the less dramatic side of the characters and how they interact with each other. This is a recommendation to anyone who would enjoy a shonen anime that has a nice mix of dramatic and light moments that prioritize character relationships over world building.